Okay, awesome. So I wanted to kind of, do a little bit of a recap from yesterday and just kind of see how you guys are feeling about your, ideal client, that sort of thing, and kind of what you saw when looking at your goals also. So, basically for me, it's always, I guess, disregard. Disregard. I don't know where my brain is going. Um, I'm just thinking that, my ideal client is always at the forefront of everything that I do. And so that's kind of why we're going to talk about it one more time, just a little bit right now.
It's a good reminder because sometimes I'll put things out there and I'm not even thinking about who I'm targeting. So I think that's a valid point to repeat it because that's what's standing out to me is, when I'm putting things on social media and so forth, I got to kind of keep that in mind. So
I love it. I love it. Did you have any other ahas, around your ideal clients?
not really, just the fact that I need to kind of focus instead of trying to hit everybody, focus them.
Love
That's
it.
what it is.
Okay. I love that. I love that. How about you, Caroline?
Sometimes it's just kind of hard to think about who my ideal client is. I'm in Florida, so a lot of snowbirds, a lot of older people. So so I spent a lot of yesterday thinking who exactly, first time home buyers, yes, but who would be here, and it's like everywhere else, the first time home buyers, their price point is really hard to find something. So it's kind of one of those situations. So yeah, so I'm kind of still all over the place with that,
Okay.
So still
That,
thinking about it.
that's fair. And like I said yesterday, one thing that I want us to remember is even if we pick an ideal client, it's not for forever. And that's the one thing, that I feel is kind of hard sometimes to remember is literally you could be talking to the snowbirds one day and first time home buyers the next day. And so it's really a matter of kind of pinpointing it for your message, and just kind of looking at it like that and saying, okay, who am I trying to reach and what is the problem that they have? And when you can identify the problem that they have, well, when you can identify who they are, then the problem that they have, becomes a little more clear. And then when it's clear, you can talk about that and show them how you can identify solutions for them and how you can help them with that.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Hi, Nancy. How about you?
I think the thing is that like it seems to me like there's multiple targets that I'm aiming for depending upon what I'm doing. So like I mentioned yesterday, the first time home buyer, so we have a seminar Thursday on that, which is one thing. But in terms of buyers and sellers, I would say I was thinking a little bit more of sellers, and I had somebody referred to me just last week that I'm working with. And again, he's kind of a busy guy. He's actually retired, but a busy guy who's traveling, doesn't have time to coordinate projects to be finished. So I was able to get somebody in ASAP and finish it. And I feel like my ideal person isn't going to squabble over commission. They're not looking for the lowest commission necessarily, but they're looking for value for what I'm bringing, and they appreciate who I am and what I'm able to offer. So I think that's a little bit of a distinction as opposed to somebody who's, just cheap and looking for everybody to cut their commission. That's not my kind of person I even want to work with.
I just want to say I love you and thank you because I'm sure you know, I mean, just that is one of the hardest things to deal with in real estate, right? And so I love that you're saying that and kind of setting in a way a boundary for yourself, you know, and I think that's great. So
Well, and if I could just add one thing, I think this might be, it's not necessarily targeting, but just useful for everybody else who deals with people wanting to cut commission. I was talking to a referral from an investor friend / acquaintance that I know. She always does her own listings, basically a limited services agency. No problem. She's a nice lady. And so we connect here and there. She referred me to a guy and he said, you know, my typical commission was something extremely low. And I wanted to just say, you know, it was through a Facebook message. I just wanted to say, you know, basically cuss at him and say, are you effing kidding me? You know, no, I'm not doing it for that. But instead I set up a call with him and I asked him what specifically he was looking for, because it sounded like with that kind of commission, he was looking for a McDonald's type service.
right.
So pretty much self-serve, you wait at the counter, you get your order, you get what you get. It's not real high-end food by any means, but it sounded like that's what he's looking for. And I do more of a 5-star restaurant type service. And he corrected himself and said, oh, no, that's not what I'm looking for. And I said, well, you know, to be honest with you, if you want attention, you're going to have to pay for it, because you're going to get either a newer agent who doesn't know their worth or needs to prove themselves, or somebody who's not busy, or somebody who's going to provide you limited services. So I'm just saying that in the spirit of, hopefully, if you ever have that objection that comes to you, that they want to basically provide you with, you know, a low commission in terms of your service. If you're providing value, make sure to stand up for yourself and explain what that value is. So
exactly. I love that. And the other thing to kind of piggyback on that is truly they are not paying, like, okay, so, and I know you guys probably all know this, right? But when let's say we have a listing and I've seen this so many times lately. You have a listing and the people are like, well, you sold it quickly, or, you know, the market is going such that, you know, we don't need someone to do all these things, whatever it is. And you look at it, and the way that I always look at this is, you're not paying me for just specifically this job. Like, you know, you're paying me for my experience, for all the years and all of the deals that I've done to get us to this point, to make it happen as quickly as we can, and those kinds of things. So it is really important to know your value, to know your worth, to know that it's not just about, you know, the money. Like, that's in their mind kind of where they are, but when you can show them your value and show them what you bring to the table, it's kind of a different conversation. So, okay, well, Atul, I would love to hear from you. And we were talking a little bit about kind of what you know, what you saw in looking at your ideal client, and you know, kind of what thoughts you had after yesterday.
After yesterday, I was trying to figure out how to make a contacts on LinkedIn. As you said, LinkedIn is so I joined Facebook groups, a lot of them, especially first-time home buyers group. I joined it. And I'm posting on those groups regularly now. Since yesterday, I'm regularly posting on those groups. And for the LinkedIn, I'm still in the middle of that because I have two things to do on the side by side. One is real estate, one is mortgage. Regarding what you were talking about, the commission cut, like here in Toronto, it is very common here. Like, when you get a client, the first thing they ask, okay, what is the cashback value?
That's a hard one.
You are giving cashback, or I go for somewhere else.
Right. I guess in my business, and maybe it is definitely different, you know, in your marketplace, but for me, I don't give cash back. it's, you know, one of the things that I do is I do provide a home warranty for my buyers, but you know, giving them cash back, like, I don't know. I just can't. I've never brought myself to that place. I've had people ask, more so my agents than me, and my answer is always no. And they're very thankful that I basically have their back and tell them, no, that's not, you know, that's not what we're doing. If you as an agent want to give part of your commission, part of your, you know, your paycheck back to someone, that should be your choice. But the way that I kind of look at that, and one of the things that Nancy was saying earlier kind of, you know, has been kind of going around in my head a little bit. But if you have kind of a menu of services, you know, and you can say, okay, look, you know, especially for sellers, right? Because that's kind of where we can really choose. I mean, we're getting there more and more with buyers, but if you can set out a service chart basically and say, okay, you know, for X commission, I'm going to do these things for you. You can pay me less and you'll get these things, or you could pay me less and get only these services. But, you know, kind of giving them different options is sometimes a good thing, so that they can kind of see all of what you do and how you, I guess, how you can change it to accommodate them maybe, but not necessarily shoot yourself in the foot, I guess. Because we don't want someone else's hands in our pockets saying, you know, like, you work for me, you're going to give me some of your money. Like, that's not, in my opinion, at least, that's not the business I want to be in.
Good point, actually.
I think it's really understanding your value. And that's kind of been hard for me to get my head around, to be honest with you. I mean, I've been in the business for 8 years, and it's really hard for me to dissect what is really my value compared to everybody else out there.
Right. And just to say something about that, you know, and Nancy and I had a little bit of a talk about this even around this challenge, right? And there are some times where we do things and in our head, it is like, this is going to be like, this is what I'm going to charge, right? And then you think about it and you're like, okay, but I am giving so much value, or I'm doing so much, you know. As an example, I had one person who was kind of upset with me that I was charging for this challenge. And I thought, well, I'm you know, giving my time, my energy, my expertise, like, I'm talking about the things that I know. And it's not that I just learned all this stuff, right? Like, it's been in my business and what I've been doing. And so I kind of sat there for a second and I thought, oh gosh, you know, maybe I'm charging too much, or, you know, this, that, or the other. And I was like, you literally can't make everyone happy always. And so, you know, you have to look at who your people are and know, kind of like Nancy said, her people, they're not going to squabble about commission. They know the value that she brings. And so, sorry to keep picking on you, Nancy, but I love what you're saying.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Anyway, but, you know, and so there's this other side of me that is like, I know that honestly, I could charge more, you know what I mean? And it would be okay. And then I had a coach tell me yesterday, he was like, you know, Corey, you cannot tie your self-worth, even when you're valuing things, you cannot tie your self-worth to what you're doing. Because then when you look at it that way, if someone rejects you, you kind of take that personally and you say, essentially, like, okay, well, you know, I wasn't worth that or whatever. And that's not the place you want to be either. So kind of knowing what your services are, who you are, you know, and understanding that it isn't I mean, obviously personal. I wear my heart on my sleeve. So when it gets, that way, I do take it personally, but I have to remind myself that it's not personal. And so sometimes I do think maybe tying it that way and even telling ourselves that, I'm worth more than that. Sometimes it may kind of send us down a little bit of a rabbit hole, right? And make us go, oh gosh, well, if they don't see my value, then maybe I'm not worth that.
Well, let me just reassure you that you made this very affordable and very obtainable. And I feel like it's a huge value.
I love
And I
that.
think other people feel that way too that are here. So just, you know what, you can't get hung up on one person because whatever, like you said, you cannot please everybody.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
and one of the things I remember back from college is there's low cost leaders, there's high service leaders, and the people in the middle are muddled. And so you have to figure out what your value proposition is, especially when going after sellers. Are you going to be the low cost leader? Or are you going to be the value enhanced leader? And sometimes you can provide lesser services. I've known people who do tiers of services. If you just want this is A level. And then some people even do I'm guaranteed to sell your house. You have to list it at my price, but you're going to pay more of a commission if there's a guarantee. So anyway, you got to figure out what works best for you, and nothing wrong with being the low cost leader. If you don't want to provide services, just slap it on the MLS and be on your merry way. There's a market for that as well. So, but don't provide all the service and at a low price because you'll go out of business.
Exactly.
Hey, Corey,
One thing,
how are you?
Go ahead. Doing good.
Guys,
How
how
about
are
you?
you?
I'm good.
Uh,
Thank you.
I was actually on the other link because I didn't go on to Facebook to get this one, but
No
I
worries.
figured
No
you were gonna
worries.
use the same one throughout. But a couple of things. The pricing for your class is not a reflection on what you're providing. Sometimes it's a matter of displacement where some people want the service, but they may have a challenge with providing for the cost of it. So it has nothing to do with what you're providing. So today it said 260 real estate agents already dropped out because of the economy.
Right.
Another thing, with one of the things that Nancy was saying is the value that you provide. I like what she says, is if you're going to advertise or claim you're the cheapest, you're not telling someone that you're the best.
Exactly.
So with me, I don't even worry about telling them how much I'm going to cost. I show them what the value is of what I'm providing. And if you said, if you test the waters and say, okay, you're saying agent X would take a listing for whatever percentage is. So you're saying if I offer my services for the same percentage, you're going to give me the listing? And if they say yes, then I'd go over what I'm providing. I'm providing X, Y, Z. Are these the things that you want? And they say yes. I said, well, that's the reason why my value, this is why it's valued this amount.
Right. Right.
If they did X offering you those same things as value for that percentage, and 9 out of 10 times it's no. So this is why what I'm charging it is.
I love that. I love that. Thank you.
Thanks. And the
one thing,
I'm going transitioning again from being a buyer's agent to a seller's agent. So I'm attracting sellers from 650 to 1.2. So there's a learning curve that I'm trying to implement different things from you and from, different sources to
Absolutely.
put that little mush together.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? The thing is when we start going into a new market or kind of shifting or adapting, and kind of changing things, like you said, we have to look at what our value is, and that's kind of the same thing Nancy was saying as well with our value I can't even say it right now, proposition. It is that, like if we can show someone that we offer something that is more than or better than, that sort of thing, like than the other people are offering. And that's it's taking a look at ourselves really and saying, what things am I willing to do? What things can I, commit to and stand behind? And basically, what things can I help you with, basically in a way that is, effective, and maybe not over promising and under delivering, but the exact opposite, maybe under promising and over delivering. And when you can do those kinds of things, it really it shows people who you are, in my opinion, at least.
Right. I totally agree.
Love it. All right, sorry, Mary, what did you have? Oh, there you are. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
No,
no.
I just was gonna say one thing that's helped me to know like where I'm at and maintain my knowing my worth is asking a seller if they went with another agent, like what it was that I could have done differently.
Mhm.
And oftentimes it boils down to they don't want to pay me. The last one I had was a gentleman who I had been nurturing for a few years and just providing him with market statistics and things of that nature, checking in with him once in a while. And he said to me, honestly, Mary, nothing. He said, first of all, if I'd have known that the other agent was still in real estate, I probably would have just gone with him anyway. First of all. Second of all, he only charged me 4%.
Mm.
So he said, but I got to tell you, hands down, your knowledge and what you've shared with me is second to none. And it was fantastic. So
That one's a little hard. That one's a
it
little
is. But the agent that he went with has been in real estate for years in a city that I've only been in for 6 or 7 years shortly before I got licensed. And there was that personal relationship, and he's known him since who knows how long. So I was okay with that. If that's what it boils down to,
right.
I'm not going to discount myself like that.
Yeah, I don't want to derail your agenda today, but I just wanted to say this, and this is something I've learned over the years. I think we just need to come out and ask people. And that's something I have not done. I just assume, like I'm talking to a lady now that I've talked to for years. And I think we need to come out and say, hey, when you are ready to buy, when you are ready to sell, are you going to be calling me, or do you have a relationship with somebody else?
Right.
I just think that would clear a lot of confusion on my part, because I have this expectation or assumption. So I just think you got to ask people.
Right.
Well, and I mean, there's another part too. And, I totally understand, very disappointing. You've worked with somebody, given them a lot of value, and then they don't see the value. But there is a part of it to overturn those objections. And so just like that guy who was just right off the gate telling me super low commission he was going to pay me. And instead of just taking that, really selling the value. And I don't know if I'm still going to get his business, but I've offered him, he wants to do something kind of different with a closing, maintaining a loan on it that's in place. And there's only one title company that I could find that does it. So I did that for him. I've recommended inspectors for him, et cetera, et cetera. He still might not use me, but I guess the thing is like having that confidence to overturn objections. So if he already signed, obviously it's too late, but sometimes you can kind of plant some doubt in them. And I'm not talking about being, manipulative for a bad reason, but for a good reason, is to say, well, do you think if he discounts his services that he's going to provide that same information and market analysis and all these other things that you're looking for?
Right.
And and if you go back to what you originally talked for, from what I remember in our original conversation, you were looking for A, B, C, and D. And so is he providing you that? And anyway, you get what I'm saying. If you really do a good job of interviewing what they're looking for, then you can use that if they're not wanting to work with you in the future. But don't give up on it. Don't just say, oh, okay, because that's what 99% of the agents do. You have nothing to lose. I mean, he's already sort of given you a no. So is there an opportunity to turn it to a yes? Maybe 10% of the time. So just encourage you to just not give up on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right, so what are we going to learn today? Like, as I discussed with you, like being a new realtor, like how
Well-
to like the lead, because that's my main concern is.
So today, what I want to do is I want to kind of go through and talk about our online presence and kind of look at what we're doing and the things that we're presenting. First of all, tomorrow we're going to be really diving into lead generation and, kind of content and all of those things. But I want us to be prepared so that when someone comes to our profiles, whether it be LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever we are, Instagram, wherever we're planning to be, they know who we are. They can see that we're an agent. They can see what we're offering and what makes us stand out and be different, And so one of the things that, I was going to share my screen and kind of show you, but basically one of the things that I feel is very, very important is to not be a secret agent. And I think we've all kind of heard that, right? If we've been in the business for a little while, don't be a secret agent. And I kind of stalked you guys a little bit, not gonna lie, and checked out your guys' profiles. And there were some things that I saw that I was like, okay, if I was a customer coming to you, what would I see? Would I see someone who's saying, hey, I help you, buy and sell. I help you sell. I was going to say tuna fish. I don't know. I was random. It just popped in my head. But I mean, does it show who you are and what you do? And, one of the things that, I'm going to share, hold on. Let me get out of this real quick and share my screen.
Like that was a good like our profile so that you can let us know like where we are lacking. Right?
Exactly. And that's kind of what I was thinking, is that, I mean, I'm not a big like social media guru by any means, right? But I know enough that I know how to kind of utilize the space that we have. And so okay, hold on. Let me find my profile. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yes.
You could use mine as a case study. I would definitely like to know. It's fine.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start by showing you guys a couple of things on mine that I kind of want you to kind of take a look at and just see maybe where there could be value in this for you. Okay, so let me go and share my screen. Okay. All right. So, okay, why are you showing me that? Go away. Okay. All right. So obviously this is my profile. Now, one of the biggest things, now my bio is not necessarily, because I do two things, honestly, I need to work on my bio a little. So like I said, not perfect by any means, but here's what we have. So the biggest thing that I feel we need to take a look at is really our cover photo. For me, we're all in real estate, right? And like, what's the 3 little words? Location, 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 right? And so this is literally the first thing that people see when they click on your profile, right? Even if it's the mid point, like if you're in a Facebook group and you click on someone's name, it takes you to kind of a midpoint. It doesn't show you their entire profile, but it still will show you their cover photo. Now, one of the things about this, and one of the things that I plan to change on mine, is I used to, but I want to have like a button that gives them some sort of instruction, some sort of a call to action. But basically, the way that I look at my cover photo is, I think you guys all know about the 1-click rule, right? Like whatever you post, you need to have your office name, kind of identifying stuff about you, or you need to be well, you need to do that and kind of be one click away from them being able to see all of your information and identify who you work with, you know, all of those things.
So where's your one click?
So anyone who, like, if I'm posting and they come to my profile, it's here.
Right. So, okay. So your one click is where on your profile?
If my cover photo, it basically
Oh.
all is on my cover photo.
Oh, it's not that they can click it, they can see it. you
They
mean.
can see it by clicking
Gotcha.
on like my profile, they can see it.
Gotcha.
So, okay. So with this though, one of the things that I do like to do, and it's not on here and I should have changed it, but one of the things that I like to say is basically click here, you know, and then once you do this, I have a description, and in the description, there's call to actions, you know, that sort of thing. So for me, this is one place that I do get buyers from. They see this and they are like, oh, okay, you know, here is some of the stuff that she can help guide me through. So, and can you guys see it all?
Yeah.
On my screen? It's kind of covered. So, okay. So basically, you know, I do have two call to actions. One, I'm asking them to DM me today to talk about it. And then the other thing I have is a link to my first time home buyer group that I run for my local clients. And it is kind of a free advertising, in my opinion, like a free billboard for you, right? You can go in, you can use this, you can say, okay, whatever you want to tell them to attract them. Are there any questions on that or any thoughts?
So it depends who you want to attract.
Yes. Yes, because for me, my main focus is first time home buyers. And, you know, even when I'm helping sellers, like I don't worry about that quite as much, but because my focus and the main people that I like to help are first time home buyers, that's where this kind of leads.
So I guess I'm confused how is it just a caption when you upload your background photo? Because I've never noticed that that was even an option. So that's
Yeah, it's basically the description of your
Okay.
photo.
okay.
Yeah, but for you, you had to click on your photo
Yes.
because you
yes,
said you want to add a button, but you haven't.
I do.
So
Yeah.
is that your question, Nancy? How do you add the button?
No, I was looking at the caption, but I guess the button, I mean, you just say click here, and then if they click it, they automatically get the information. I guess I'm not too confused about that, but
Yeah. Exactly. And sometimes on Canva, and I haven't figured out if you can do it through a cover photo yet or not, but normally I'll just have like a thing that looks like a button that says click here or something like that, you know, or even just words. I mean, basically just words that say that. Okay. So, well, let's go out of mine.
And this is your business page, correct?
This is my personal page.
That's your personal page, okay.
Yes. So that's another thing. So love it. Okay. So one of the things that is something that I hear often is I don't like to use my personal page for real estate. I don't want to like commingle the people, right? And for me, I really truly believe that people follow people that they know and like, right? They pay attention to people who they know and like. If they feel like they trust you and they kind of feel like they know you through your photos, maybe it's pictures of your family, you know, those kinds of things, they're going to feel a little bit closer to you than if it's just a straight up business profile, you know, and every day all you do is only post real estate posts. You kind of come off as a salesperson. If you can be a real person and show them who you are, they're going to feel like they're getting to know you. And one of my favorite / creepiest moments, I think, was I was at the grocery store, and this lady, she was in my Facebook group, apparently, I think. And I think that's where she found me. But basically, she came up to me in the store and she was so excited, and she's like, "Hi, Corey." And for me, I I feel guilty if I don't remember someone, and like if I don't realize like I've met them before, or that sort of thing. It makes me feel really bad. Well, this lady, she came up to me like she knew me, and I had no recollection of who she was, no idea whatsoever. And she's like, "You sell real estate and this and that and the other, and I want you to help me." And I'm just like going, "Okay." And so I had to stop and ask her, like, how did you, see me? And she told me social media. And I was kind of like, okay, that makes sense, but she felt like she knew me, even though I had no clue who she was.
Well,
And
do you have a business page? That's like, sometimes I get a little confused when I'm supposed to be using my business page. So obviously I have to have one, because if you have Instagram, you have to have a business page.
so I have a business page for my brokerage. The things that I put on there are, very, very business related. My profile is, obviously separate, but tied to the business page. The purpose of pages is essentially, that's Facebook's way of making money. So when you post on there, you're not going to get a lot of engagement. You're not going to get a lot of views or eyeballs on whatever you're posting, because they want you to boost the post. They want you to, basically, that's how they make money. So they want you to spend money for people to see what you're doing as a business. That's where, to me, Facebook groups come in, because they're pushing community. They want you to connect. They want to grow, these communities. So there, to me, there's 3 different parts of Facebook. There's the page, the personal, your profile, and then groups. And basically, I feel like you want to be in all 3 places, so that you kind of have the biggest reach that you can. On your personal profile, even there, not everyone is going to see it every time you post something. So it's kind of one of those things where you need to continue to post things and not feel like you're overdoing it in some ways. Some people are like, "Oh, well, I already posted this, like essentially I can never post this again. Everyone's already seen it," that sort of thing. And the truth is that so many people don't see it. And I'm sure you've all noticed, right? Like, you'll be scrolling on Facebook or something, and so many of your contacts, you don't ever see their stuff, right? And so to assume that everyone has seen something is kind of, in a way, kind of a way to shoot yourself in the foot, if that makes sense. Okay, so I love that you have something about being a real estate agent, like, front and center. I
change the banner sometimes twice a day or once a day, depending on what's going on.
Okay. So with that, like I said, I want it to always be kind of my billboard, right? And so if I am doing something, and this is where it gets a little tricky for me, because sometimes I'm doing real estate, sometimes I'm doing coaching. So, kind of going back and forth between that is a challenge sometimes, but I try to focus on the thing that I am trying to focus on. So, like, as an example, I'm not saying to leave your billboard and not change it or anything like that, but always have some sort of a call to action, or some reason why people, when they see this, why they would click it, why they would engage with you based on this. So, as an example, maybe if I'm trying to pick up some more first-time home buyers, or home buyers in general, maybe I would, you know, kind of do a graphic or something that says something along the lines of, you know, buy with me and get a home warranty for free or something like that, you know, and basically just something that kind of grabs their attention. And then I would probably have a click here thing. And then in the description, give them how to contact me to talk about, you know, X, Y, and Z, whatever it is.
Okay.
All right. So I love that you have your luxury homes. I love that.
Right.
Okay. And your bio. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. Okay. So okay, here's what I love. You have how people can get in touch with you. You have basically options for them, you know, different things. This is kind of one of the things that I try to do in different ways. A lot of time mine is through content, and you know, I will offer different things, and basically all of them are lead magnets. I love that you have yours all in one place, but I want to ask, and this is just a question, not like a judgment or anything, but so do you also offer these things on a regular basis, like, or is it strictly through your bio?
This is everywhere. It's on LinkedIn, it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook. So in any time someone clicked the link on my bio, this is what they're gonna get, and it takes them. They all tie back into each other.
Love it. Love
I'm gonna
it.
go into my Facebook. If you are on LinkedIn, the Facebook icon is there. You could click to go to Facebook. If you are on Facebook and you want to go see my Instagram, you could click on the Instagram,
Right.
or any one of them. So they're all tied into each other. But the predominant tablets, they stay the same. Real estate tips, website, free home sellers guide, free home buyers guide, all those stay consistent. The bottom one is a contest I'm doing right now. It's a 75 hard challenge. So if someone wants to join that group, because it's basically a workout group for 75 days, it has certain criteria to it. And, you know, it's a thing I'm picking up on with people love working out or want to stay in shape. So that's a group that was formed just for that.
I love it. I love it. Now, so one, I guess, kind of clarifying question. So when you have, let's say, your free seller's guide, do you share about that in other places?
Yes, if I'm posting about it, I would say see bio and see free home buyers guide. If
Okay.
I'm putting a post about sellers, I'll say visit bio and see free home sellers guide. Because the
Okay.
reason I'm pointing them to the bio is because the bio has other information they may want to visit also.
Gotcha.
If I'm doing a home evaluation or offering a free home evaluation for whatever the post is about or the video is about, I'll say, don't forget to check the bio to click on the free home evaluation, or don't forget to check the seller's guide. You know, it's a free home seller's guide.
So one of the things that I feel like I would probably do is even just include that link to your bio in those kinds of posts.
Yes, I do that too.
Okay, good, good. Okay. And then, you know, also the thing that, well, that's kind of more for tomorrow, I guess. I was going to say the thing that I love is, you know, being able to be the provider of information, you know, and kind of showing them the different things. So you want to always be giving them something to do, right? You know, whether that be like a post for more information, comment for more information, DM me for more information. Like you always want to give them one step or something to do. And that kind of gets them, it's like every step that they take is kind of building a level of trust, right? Like if they trust you or they've seen something they like and they go and press the button, you know what I mean? Like, okay, they've listened to you once, you know, and every time after that, it gets a little bit easier. Would you guys agree with that? Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just quickly had a question for Bill. Is that bio site like a link tree?
It's similar, yes, it's similar to a link tree. They have a few options you could use. And some of them they're all have a free version. I paid for this version because it gives you more options of doing stuff. But I think it was like 60 or $70 a year or something like that. So
Okay, thank you.
yeah. But it's similar to Linktree, and there's another one that I just picked up on, but I haven't started using that as yet.
Love it. All right. So I love that you can see your job, you know, all of that. One thing, just to keep everyone kind of not out of trouble, but in a way out of trouble with Facebook, is they say that you want to, if you're on your personal profile, you want to have, you know, 80% be your life and 20% be your business. I don't always adhere to that. Haven't gotten in trouble yet, you know, or had anyone like, oh, she's just selling stuff or whatever. But that's what I've heard even from Facebook at some point, you know, that they really are kind of, I guess, essentially not so much wanting to see, or I don't know if it, I believe it's for the algorithm basically, but basically that, you know, the more you sell, the more you should be posting personal things as well.
Right.
Okay. So my other thought on this is, okay, here's the about me. I'm just curious. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. So exactly. I want people to get to know you. I love it. I love it. Okay. I am so happy. You have made this so good today. I love it. So, okay. I'm going to click off. I love everything that you have going on here. It represents a brand. It shows basically these are the kinds of homes that I want to be selling or I am selling, right? And it identifies you. It goes with your brand. It shows who you are and what you do. So I love that.
Thank you.
Okay.
It was a painful, hard journey getting here, I believe.
Right. And it's always a learning process, right? To kind of go through this and get to this point of like, okay, I have it all figured out, or not all figured out, but I have the boxes checked and I'm doing, you know, at this point, everything that I can, and not have like, for me, every time I look at my bio, I'm like, ooh, okay, I need to update. I need to this, I need to that, you know, so it's an ever evolving process basically. Right. And so, like I said, for me, sometimes I get a little hung up in the coach or realtor, you know, which one am I trying to be? And I can be both, but again, then the message is kind of diluted a little bit. And then, you know, if you're trying to be everything to everyone, you're kind of nothing to anyone, right? Because it just doesn't make sense or it's not clear to them.
I got a two-part question for you on the
Okay.
same page here. For example, if you scroll up a little to see the trivia, because what I did, scroll the other way.
This way? Oh, yes, right here.
Right. So what I tried to do with this post was to get some engagement. So most people actually text me instead of actually respond to the question. So it's actually a question of what these four presidents were before they became president, and the you know, they were all B, which is the answer, but I didn't post the answer yet. So also on that note, what's a good time? Because everybody has different time. You should post, you shouldn't post, you should post at this time, don't post that time. What's your opinion on times of posting?
Well, for me, I guess I don't necessarily adhere to a time. For me, it is kind of when I feel like my brain is functioning at its highest capacity. You know, and then basically from there, you know, people, I've heard so many people say, you know, like around 10 o'clock, you know, maybe people are getting a break, or lunchtime, you know, maybe they're getting on to kind of look as they're eating their lunch. After, you know, afternoon for, you know, maybe an afternoon break or something like that. So in my opinion, I think it kind of all depends on your audience and who's in your audience. So I would kind of look at it like, if you feel like all of your people who are following you, let's say they're all executives, right? And you know, maybe it's a lunchtime type of thing, you know, where you know that more people are going to see it because you know they have a corporate job and they're likely to take lunch at a certain time, you know, then there's that. But then also we're competing with the algorithm, or not competing, but at the mercy of the algorithm. So even if, I mean, I have coaches that I follow and I swear I'm seeing their stuff every day, and then 3 or 4 days later, I see something that's fabulous. And I'm like going, how did I miss this 4 days ago? You know, so it's just not, it doesn't show everything to everybody all the time. So that's kind of another issue, right? And there's no guide to the algorithm. There's no like, here's what you should know. And anyone who says that they have that, my opinion is, it might be trial and error, that sort of thing, but literally there's not a guide from Facebook saying here's what you need to know to trick our algorithm into showing it to more people, you know?
Right. So if so, and the thing is, the thought process of changing the banner is a reflection of what you said. Also, is to show, because based on what I'm reading, people see your banner faster than they see an actual post.
Yeah.
So what I try to do is to try to show the human side and also show the realtor side. I
Right.
call the civilian side, you know, because I call them civilians, and the human side of being in society. Like yesterday was something. What was it? New week start. What's on your mind? You know,
Okay.
something, you know, simple. So some people might say, work. It's Monday. It's dragging. Whatever.
Right.
You know. And the day before that, it was, you know, something motivational. An empty tank will take you exactly nowhere. Take some time to refuel.
Right.
You know, so it's, so what do you think about that? It makes sense or no?
I like it, and I feel like when you can get eyeballs on you, whatever you're doing is good, right? As long as it's on brand, you
Right.
know. And so I mean, like if we're portraying a, you know, high-end real estate, you know, agent, broker, realtor, you know, that sort of thing, then we want that to always be on brand, you know, and you want to show the human side because you want people to know you and see you. If I scrolled through your page and then saw, you know, a wild party, obviously that wouldn't be on brand, right? And so that's the sort of thing that we're obviously not, I mean, and I think we all know that, right? But still, just saying it to put it out there, right? You know, I mean, it's not to say that like, okay, I go to a winery or something and I don't post that, because I do, and I definitely like to kind of advertise for different companies, or you know, put out information or even reviews about different companies and stuff, and connect with their audiences as well. So I think that it is fabulous what you're doing. I think that one of the things that I would try to do if you're changing your cover photo often is just make sure you're paying attention to that description. And even if it is motivational, have something in there, some sort of a call to action to get people to act or interact with you.
Right. Okay.
And
Hey.
you know, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish with him. I'm sorry.
Okay. So anyway, and that would be, I think, really the piece of advice, like, you know, if you're utilizing that tool, just always be sure that there's some way for them to reach out to you.
So make sure there's CTA. So in this one, I didn't have a caption. It's just a post. So I should have put it in a caption with something with a CTA, right?
I always recommend that, yes, because even if it is, you know, I mean, it's obvious here, right? But even if it is, drop your answer below or DM me your answer and tomorrow I'll give you the correct answer, or, you know, whatever it is.
Great, great, great. I'll
But-
actually add in a few minutes.
Okay. Okay, Mari, what about you?
Oh, just quickly, I have to, I mean, this has been valuable because I get so hung up on the technology side of things because I am older and it takes me a while to learn things. But just briefly, for me to change my profile
Cover photo?
picture thing,
Uh-huh.
and I want someone to click to go to the bio. Is that kind of self-explanatory in how you do that?
You know, we can always kind of work through it together if you would like. And
Yeah,
you-
we'll probably do that. I don't want to hijack any more of your time because I know I'm running out of time myself here today.
yes.
So yeah, that would be great.
Okay, yeah, we can definitely kind of work through it and you know, kind of see how best I can help you with that and get your questions answered and everything.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Corey, could I just interject something for Mary? She had asked, the other one I had to look for it. It's called Beacon. It's similar to Linktree. Yeah, it's Beacon. It's also free, where you could put different tablets in or what you want to put.
BEACON.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
It works similar to this here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
This one is actually called BioSite. The one I'm using, you're looking at right now, is called BioSite, BIOSITE. So you could check out all three, and all three are free. Actually, they have a free version, I should say.
Right, right. I use Linktree on my Instagram, but I will definitely incorporate it here. Thank you.
Because if you look at, if you have time to look at Instagram, you can see the same thing. And then what I try to do is on my business page, the banners stay the same, and they're all the same look right across.
So, the one thing I would say, and I don't know how you feel about this, Corey, but I'd say that people relate way more to personal content than they do on me posting a bunch of business content. Not that there's anything wrong with having your banner be business related, but if all of my pictures are really professional shots, I just don't get the engagement. One of the things I do, which has surprisingly been effective in terms of generating people commenting on me, is my powerlifting. So I'll post videos. I won't post them every day. I have groups where I do that, but I don't do it on my personal profile. But I'll show myself deadlifting or squatting or whatever, bench pressing. And I have so many comments on those. And then when I see people in person, they just always comment on it. So it's just one of those things that I guess just to put out there that sometimes your personal stuff, it's who we are that they relate to more than anything, than the slicked, polished image. So, like you're saying, you go to a winery and you're I mean, obviously we don't want to see people drunk and, that kind of thing, but you go to a winery, you're promoting their business. I mean, that's cool. They get to know you a little bit. So that's the one thing I'd say. I err on the side of doing more personal posts than professional posts on my personal Facebook page, but people get to know me as a result.
Right. And that's another thing, when we kind of get into, talking about content and those kinds of things, one of the things that is kind of always stands out to me, like you're saying, Nancy, is when I post a picture like of myself or with my family or something like that, even if it's real estate related, I definitely tend to see more comments, more things, more engagement with that, because people are like, oh, here's here's her real life kind of thing. And it draws them in.
Exactly. So anyway, I've got to run, but thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. And feel free to DM me at any point you guys have questions or anything, and we will get back together tomorrow morning. And I may message a couple of you, with some extra information. I'll put it in the group too, but just so that, to kind of help answer those questions that we've had today.
Okay, good.
Tomorrow we'll have
Perfect, thank you.
link,
You're very
right?
welcome. I'm sorry.
Tomorrow we'll have a different link.
It should be the same link. I thought that it was the same link today too, because it looked like it was, but if it's not, I'll just post it again tomorrow morning for us.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. See you
welcome.
tomorrow.
Thank
right,
you
thank
guys.
you.
Okay,
Thank
bye-bye.
you.
I don't know how to stop it now. Oh no. Okay, there we go.